Hello everybody, JGamerB here, and this is my second video of the guide I made for this channel. And today, this is my, second, of course, and introducing my next favorite killer that I've been playing a lot since day one of release, and then a little bit after the change, and then even more after the rework. And enough do. Anyways, today is this guide is nothing but for the Knight here, my other favorite killer. Now, I already made a video about Pyramid Head for the other time, so I'm not going to explain of how good I could be with the Knight. But just to know, Knight is a very different killer, like most other different killers are going to be. So, in this video, I will explain more about how the Knight works and how the power works of if anybody is interested in playing the killer. Now, unfortunately, despite this killer being my favorite, the Knight's pretty much the most hated killer in DBD right now, other than the Skull Merchant. Oh god, we're not going to talk about her anyways. Sorry for all the Skull Merchant mains. Knights receive a lot of hate though, due to, well, how unfair the power can be, of how the guards and how they work. Either way, playing as him is very fun, but against him, everybody don't like. Now, hot take here, I actually enjoy playing against the Knight as a survivor. I know this may shock some of you, but I do, because this killer is very unique. It's not some like killer where, oh, you're gonna die in 2 seconds like Nurse or Blight or any other S tier killer. No, the Knight's very different from that. It's just having the guards, it's just very unique to have in overall general. But without further ado, let's start the guide. Now, just like what I did with Pyramid Head, I'm also going to explain the basics of the Knight. The Knight is a killer that moves 115% movement speed, or 4.6 meters, and he also has a 32 meter terror radius and is a tall killer. He has the power called the Guardian Campaign, where the Knight can summon 3 of his loyal guards called the Faithful 3. The Carnifex, the Assassin, and the Jailer. Now, how this works is that when you go into when you use your power, you go into this mode called Guard Summon mode. And then as you move in this mode, you're carving a trail or a path called a patrol path. During this mode, it leaves behind a ghostly green orb that survivors can see visually, which will slowly disappear after 10 meters. You cannot place a guard within 10 meters, by the way. If you carve this trail of 10 meters or more, you have the option to summon a guard at your bidding. And this is where the guards actually starts to work. Once you summon a guard, it takes about 2.5 seconds for the guard to start up. And that time, the detection radius will form around him a circle. And if any survivors are within that circle, the guard will spot that survivor. But they will start walking reverse where you carve your trail and patrol. You also have, you may also see that there's, if you're next to like a generator that's repaired it, or a pallet that's dropped, or if you breakable wall, you'll notice a prop called Order. It's where the guards can actually do your work on your behalf for the Knight. They can break stuff for you, so they can damage generators. They can also break pallets and breakable walls on your behalf. Now, if a guard does see a survivor, they start up a hunt phase that takes 2.5 seconds, where they can flow through the environment. So they can go for ceilings or walls or floors. They can go for pallets, windows, just directly to the location where they exactly saw the survivor. And then the hunt will start. After the guard's hunt up phase is over, they will start hunting a survivor for a certain amount of time. They will also leave a banner down that will soon be sound later after 5 seconds or so. Now, they can also phase through any pallets and windows, so survivors can't just drop the pallet to stun any of the guards. But they don't move that fast as the Knight. So Jailer and Carnifex moves at 102.5%, while the Assassin moves 110% movement speed, the same movement speed as Deathslinger and Huntress, and even the Hag. Also, once the horn does sound, a banner will be available for the survivor to catch it, which I will explain a little bit later. You can also switch up your guards a lot, so like you can manually switch to each of your guards where you can choose, so you can choose which guards you want to summon and so. Now do note that each of them have their own cooldown. Carnifex has a 20-second cooldown, Assassin's 30 seconds, and the Jailer's 25. So Carnifex has the shortest cooldown while the Assassin has the longest. If you decided to hit your guard when they're on patrol to manually cancel them, it decreases your overall cooldown for them. So Carnifex can be summoned back at like 10 seconds and up to Assassin being summoned down to like 20 seconds. Pretty much always good to do this. Now, one more thing to note. The longer your patrol path, the stronger the Knight and the guards will become. If you create a pull trap way more than 10 meters, or if you carve it for more than 26 meters or more up to 32, the following effects will apply. First, the Knight will gain a 5% haste for up to 10 seconds, so you can move 120% on that time. Also, the hunt startup phase will be shorter, under 2 seconds. The math here is very confusing, so I'm not going to exactly calculate it, but it's under 2 seconds that the guard will flow through the environment where they spot the survivor. Also, the hunt duration of each guard will increase dramatically. So, Carnifex and the Assassin can only hunt for 12 seconds up to 24 seconds if the patrol path is maxed out, while Jailer can hunt for 24 up to 36 seconds, so he can hunt the longest. Now, if you're in this summon mode, this summon mode right here is cancelled manually if you carve a path under 32 meters, or if you stay in this mode for more than 10 seconds. There's a limit to this. You can also manually cancel it anytime you want. So if you think you're not going to summon that area of where the guard you want to, you can just cancel it and summon the guard somewhere else as you wish. There's only 3 ways survivors can do to escape the guard. If the guard managed to get the hit, once they are right on behind their backs, will cause a health save. So guards can get hits for you, but there are 3 ways survivors will do to escape this. Either to outlast the hunt, get hit by you, or catch the banner that they throw down. If they do somehow catch the banner after the horn was blown, they gain a 50% haste as well as a 2-second endurance. I think it's 2 seconds or more. Now, to use the guards more effectively depends on the patrol path you create. If you want the guards to have some valuable on your side and to make them stronger, you're just going to have to create more long patrol paths. However, though, you must be careful how you do it, because survivors will eventually know where you're going to place it. Even though the orb disappears, there is a bug where you'll hear the footsteps, which is kind of stupid, to be honest with you. There are so many bugs about this killer that I'll talk about later. Other than that, if you can snipe generators and you can snipe survivors with your patrol path, but to do this, you're gonna want headphones, because if you're familiar with playing as the Spirit, then the exact same thing is the Knight as well, because Spirit has to be all relied on hearing while to play her. The Knight is exactly just like that. So you can place a guard right on top of them if you can hear them well. You can hear the footsteps. Fun fact though is that if they are injured, you can still see their pools of blood, but you just can't see their scratch marks. Now, I'm going to put up a little bit of examples. This killer here is not too difficult to master, unlike Pyramid Head, so this might be pretty short on this guide here, because this is all heavily relied on AI and mainly just the pathing. Because here's the thing, the knight is not just a, oh, you see a survivor and you chase him down. No, he's different. It's all about micro gameplay here. It's all about letting the guards do your work while you do somewhere else, or you tag team them, which is the most hated thing that survivors hate, called the sandwich tag. Other than that, though, I'm going to show you a little bit of a trick on that most players will pretty much not know, and this caught off survivors a lot off guard. I'm going to put one video example, so pay attention closely here. So in this good example right here, I got a hit on that Nancy in this game. Now the generator there's highlighted or yellow thanks to my perk. I used the assassin to go get the Nancy, but I faked it out, making the survivors working on a gen thinking I'm going to go for Nancy. So instead, I turned the assassin right at them instead, since they cannot see the ghostly orb since I'm now longer than 10 meters. This caught them off guard, and now the assassin is ready to go hunt them down. And this allows me to put more pressure on them by 2v4ing or 2v1ing, which I strategically decided to 2v4. Knight's all about strategy. It's not just a full-blown like massacre. It's all about strategy, what you like to do. This example right here, I do the same thing. Except they know this, but I put the jailer down. That gen behind me was going to be done, and so by summoning the jailer, I'm distracting them while I'm on my way hooking this Nancy over here. This is a tactical way of playing as the knight here, using your guards at the right place at the right time. Now, if you're in an emergency situation, it doesn't matter which guard, because some guards are good than others at specific things. The Carnifex is what you're going to want to use if you're wanting to break pallets or even damage the generator. Assassin's the best guard for you if you want to get hits off your guard, since he hunts the fastest. And the jailer is the best guard to use if you want to patrol a certain area, or if you want to distract the survivor really long and even 2v1 them, since his hunt is the longest. So, know which situation is correct, what is presented, and which guard you need to use. If some of them are on cooldown, you'll be forced to have to send another. Be careful not to use the guards a bit too much, or else you'll be stuck as an M1 killer. Just like Vecta, as I mentioned. One more thing that I forgot to mention is that if you're within 8 meters of a guard that's hunting a survivor, the timer will deplete 3 times faster. This is to prevent the knight from sandwiching survivors, but you can still do this though, just only with the jailer, since he hunts the longest. Now, I let the assassin do the job since he's the faster one. He's going to catch that Meg. So I pursue her into this house right here, and she went upstairs, and I thought she was in a vault, which she did, and didn't actually. She actually did, but on the other one, I managed to catch her off guard, and she is running to this pallet right here, and I managed to use Carnifex to smash that. Carnifex is your best action there. So I managed to get the hit off of her, which unfortunately she disconnected. She does not like me at all. Once you get this hook off of her, I know that Kate was in this house somewhere, so I summoned the assassin to see if he's going to spot her, which unluckily he didn't. So now I searched the house myself to find her while the assassin is searching. She was at the pallet right here. Carnifex was on cooldown, so I couldn't use him, but now she went behind this breakable wall, and now Carnifex can smash it through me like a Kool-Aid man. Managed to get the hit off of Kate, and now I decide to summon the jailer and listen for her footsteps so I can directly path where she's going. But then at that time I heard that generator was nearly completed, so while the jailer was going to get her for me, I went over there to stop Felix from finishing that gen. Luckily I did. So now 2 killers are going after half of the survivors lobby team. Nobody's on gens now since Kate went for the rescue on Meg, and now I'm chasing Felix and jailer's chasing the Kate. Now I finish off him. Fortunately, the other Kate took the hit, but you still get the hook, or you still get the valuable of hits, so it's not going to matter that much if they body block, just not in the end game. Let's start off with more strategy here. At the start of this game right here, if there's an annoying breakable wall that you don't like in some sort of map, you can really just send the Carnifex out to just break something you just don't like. Like this wall right here. And in this part right here, I'm chasing Claudette for that pallet, and you can use Carnifex to smash right through it, and it's so quick that you can just walk right through it. Though the requires positioning. This time she keeps going again though, and I don't have the Carnifex this time, so I was forced to break it, and I used the assassin to go pinpoint her location and get her for me. So now, because of my headphones and listening to her footsteps, I was able to get the assassin to find her, and now he's on the move. He is now about to catch her since he is the fastest one, and there was another survivor that the Claudette led him to. So now the assassin got Claudette, and she dropped the pallet, so I used Carnifex to just eliminate that pallet as much as you can, and summon the jailer since there was another survivor that I know was hiding nearby and flush her out. With now jailer finding her, I was able to just hook the Claudette while my guard is hunting down another survivor. And since this is elevation, she dropped down and jailer can get the hit. In this example, the jailer's chasing another survivor while I decided to go down, hunt down Nancy. This part here, she was close to that pallet, and now she decided to drop it right in front of me. Carnifex will smash it through me instantly, and I was able to get the hit. She arguably decided to just stood at the loop, and it was giving me another free hit again. She didn't decide to run away, and she got me stung again. And so I decided to send the assassin though, since I know Leon was being healed somewhere. So now assassin's dealing with Leon while I'm taking care of Nancy. One more thing to note, if you summon the Carnifex, the jailer does disappear. Like, you can't summon two guards at once. Now, the assassin's going to be taking care of Leon for me. In this video right here, I managed to get a hit on this Kate right here. And now one of the generators highlighted in yellow aura thanks to my perk surveillance. So I summoned the assassin to go do the work for me. And so while he's going after that Felix, another generator highlighted yellow, so I came to check out what's going on. I know somebody was nearby, and the Kate run right into me, and now assassin got me a hit on that Felix while I'm taking care of this Kate. Yes, these are all strategies you want to use as much guards as you can. Now, you can overuse your guards without having to worry about waiting on them on cooldown, but that's only if they do not get too many hits off of survivors. If they hunt them for a certain amount of time and then get the hit, you can keep receiving using your guards. The amount of time that guard's hunting is the amount of time the others are off cooldown. In this video right here, I summoned the jailer to go check out an area for me, and he managed to find the Kate. This is a perfect example of sandwich teching somebody. I decided to cut off Kate while jailer's being chased over there, and I cut her off right there, and jailer can get the hit now. This is what pissed off survivors a lot, and this is what makes them hate the night. So I summoned the Carnifex to stop them healing on hook. He spotted the Felix, and I go hunt down this Kate right here, going for that Meg. Now both survivors are occupied, so I was able to take care. Carnifex got the hit for me, and she dead-hearted, but Kate was about to go down now. Now with Meg on the loose, I summoned the jailer to go get her for me while I take care of this Kate. But I decided to look around because I saw another Kate at this ambulance here, and she dropped the pallet. Carnifex was on cooldown, so I can't use them, and if I use them, jailer would stop chasing, so I decided to just break the pallet right there. And I chased her off down here, and jailer managed to get the hit for me on that Meg, and now I have the hit on this Kate. So now all four teams are in a desperate moment here, and all four of them is about to go down. But I decided to give her a chance, because I'm a nice knight. Now with that Kate on the loose, I summoned the assassin to go take care of her. And this is how the moment goes. In this example, I'm setting off this Carnifex to go deal with this Nancy here. And because I sandwich tech her a little bit, she managed to get hit. The nether generator went yellow here, so I summoned the jailer to go get that whoever's on that generator. But unfortunately, he didn't see them. So now he's covering my back on that Nancy, and because its detected ray is so big, he was able to spot that Leon nearby. So now he's chasing that Leon, and Italy took the body block hit. So I summoned the assassin to go take care of Leon, and now Leon's still being chased by a killer. Now I'm hunting down this person here while the assassin's taking care of Leon. Tag teamers, you gotta love this. This creates a lot of pressure. So this is what Knight is very good at. Knight is he's one of the best killers ever when it comes to like harassing and multitasking. Like I said, this killer is all about strategy, not really like going one survivor. You don't go on one survivor head on every single time. You multitask with your guards. You let the guards do your work and you go do your own work. And then if you want, you can sandwich tech them and all that stuff, but that's whatever playstyle you prefer. But I highly recommend that you do not do a sandwich tech if you're letting the Carnifex or the Assassin chase them, because they both run out of their hunt really too quick. Jailer's your best guard for it, since he hunts the longest. But still, despite that, it's never a good idea to stay close to your guard for longer, I say, than 5 seconds. Now, there are bugs and AIs that these guards have. There are ways survivors can manipulate them and try to avoid getting hit, but other than that though, all about strategy. And mainly, it's not that too difficult to pull off too. It's just all about using certain add-ons, certain perks, and then just certain playstyles you prefer. That's really what all requires for the Knight just to get good. So like, people's argument was about how the Knight doesn't feel that too skilled to play, which unfortunately, yes, they are true, but to be really good with the Knight requires a bit of thinking. It's all about thinking. So, on to the next example. While Knight is very good at multitasking and harassing the crap out of you, there are much weaknesses that he does that have to be reconsidered. Now, since Knight does not have that much skill to require to play good other than just the headphones and the positioning, most of these weaknesses have nothing to do with his skill as well, because all of this is around AI did. So unfortunately, while he can be strong by just not playing that much, he can be really weak as well by also not playing much the same reason. The biggest weakness, or the first one he has, is mainly the guard's AI. Now, I don't have much of VO because there's so much about the AI that survivors can do. When the guard's chasing a survivor, if they drop a pallet right in front of the guard, not like when the guard's almost to it to phase through, but like right in front of them, instead of them going right through it, they double back to path around. This wastes so much time of the guard, and even if it's the assassin, it won't be fast enough depending how strong the loop is. And they have to touch the pallet before they can continue hunting you. So this is just all of a big waste of time for them, and it creates a lot of distance, nearly guaranteed to escape unless if you run into a wall. Another part that survivors will do is when they're being hunted by a guard, if you touch a window, they can the guard will have to go to that window first before they proceeded to come to them. So like, survivors could 360 a guard if they touch a window. Now this may not work on the assassin since he is the faster one, but Jailer and Carnifex you'll have no problem with. So now as for the Knight himself, while he can harass you with his guards and then go multitask, you're mainly just left as an M1 killer other than just having the Carnifex. So Knight is just an M1 killer with a 5% haste if he lets his guard do the work. So like all you get from the Knight is a Carnifex and the haste. This is the reason why I love running as Bamboozle to make up for this. That's pretty much all the weakness Knight pretty much has, but other than that though, those are the two biggest ones he has gotten. It's mainly the guard's AI that they can easily take advantage of, and the Knight himself being vulnerable without his guard, or he is forced to use the Carnifex, canceling the other guard and chase. Now, if you're in a situation where you are in need to use the Carnifex, while the other guard's chasing, you can, as long as it gets you a hit, or if you're certain to give you a hit. But I wouldn't recommend doing it if the assassin is chasing down a survivor, because he is the faster one and there's a good chance he might get the hit. But if Jailer's hunting down, use Carnifex, because Jailer takes a while for hunting and it's just overall hurting your time period. So that's pretty much most to know. Also, his power itself can feel clumsy with the patrol path, 32 meters, what the knight needs to max out, is the exact same thing as his Terra Reyes. So survivors can hear your Terra Reyes before the guard will be released. And there are a couple bugs where, like the footsteps when he uses power, so you can determine where he's gonna put the guard. He also got a couple bugs like where you summon a patrol path right to the pallet to like cause an order or something, but if they drop the pallet, you get stunned because the game counts as you when you use your power. So mainly the knight's weaknesses are mainly all about bugs. Whatever bugs he has suffered is what makes him weak, and behavior makes him as a feature for counterplay. So that's pretty much all I can mention about the knight's weakness. There's not much. Well, there is much, but all of them has to do with the bugginess, the jankiness of the power, and then the AI. And there's almost nothing a good knight can do about it. So the only thing that knight can do if the guards are being manipulated is to help them. But because of the update of just making the guards detected, or not, the guards hunt duration like lowered it, that's what really hurts the knight though, for the rework he has gotten. Now, I can't think of much perks or add-ons to actually help you as the knight, but I do consider some perks that could help on micro gameplay here. I don't know much to think. All I could think of is orbiting perks, again, like I mentioned the previous one. But you want a map-wise one, so something like Barbecue and Chili or Gearhead are probably your best ones. Nurse's Calling might help as well. Or you could just run simple slowdown if that's what you want, but that's all I could really think of. My personal favorite build really is this build I'm running. You could run Modern Abuse too, as if you want, to help reduce the Terra Reyes, if you're out of Call of Arms, that is. I will talk about a little bit of the add-ons, but his own perk Nowhere to Hide is also good, but it's in his Terra Reyes, so it's kind of situational. Lethal Sewer would be the best perk as well, so that you can get your guard going. And then you're just gonna run like simple slowdown perks if you want. So something like Pain Res. I always like Gift of Pain. Or, I mean, Surge maybe, because most survivors rather get hit by you than the guard. So Surge will probably come in handy, or maybe even Sloppy Butcher. But this build right here is my favorite. Ruin and Surveillance stack together really well, because, I mean, I know it's been nerfed, but once Survivor is not working on a generator, the generator goes highlighted white thanks to Surveillance, and then if they touch it and stop the regression, it goes in yellow. So then I know exactly where they are, and I can summon a guard right there. However, if Ruin is taken out though, then my backup perk, if Ruin is taken out, is I like to use Oppression right next to Surveillance. It's a perk where if you damage a generator, the other 3 generators will start regressing. So that way, and you'll see them highlighted in white because it stacks really well with Surveillance. And so that way you know which generator is not being worked on. Now, if a survivor is working on them, they receive a difficult skill check, so there's a chance they're going to screw up. However, though, if you kick a generator and you see that one of them is not highlighted in a white aura, and if there's no explosion at all, that means somebody's at that certain generator. So that's just something all for you to know. Now, for the add-ons, I always like to run, I mean, his add-ons are not totally bad. Some of them are okay, but the best ones that I always never stop running is both Call of Arms, a yellow add-on where if you increases your patrol range by 10% or 10 meters, I mean, so that means you get 42 meters in total. And also, while doing so, your movement speed increases by 25%, so your power is much smoother. And Map of the Realm, a brown add-on that increases your overall guard's detection range by 2 meters. Now, this add-on right here was made base kit because it was a must-have, but good God, you will be shocked by how many times I have a lot of valuable out of that add-on, because there are so many times where the guards spot the survivors where they otherwise wouldn't. It is insane. So 2 extra meters is pretty much no joke to me. Also, I forgot to mention the perk Bamboozle. I always love it. I recently used Undying to synergize with the rest of the build, but I remembered the weakness that Knight has about being by himself when the guard's hunting a survivor. You only have a Carnifex and the haste. So I always like to run Bamboozle to kind of help the Knight to give me a bit of an advantage on windows. So like, you vault a window, the window's blocked, and then they are forced to use a pallet, and then you have Carnifex to break that pallet. So in conclusion, Knight is a strong killer with Master Did, but he's not that difficult to Master Did, unlike Pyramid Head, as it's just all around AI and patrol path lengths. So to really get good with him, it just requires headphones, which is not really a skill at all. You just want to hear good. But the true skill on mastering the Knight is all about thinking, micro game planning. It's just all about planning. It's all about using your head as a killer here. He's not no nemesis where you have to press a button and then that's it. You get valuable. No, it's all about planning ahead, where you place your guards, what your strategy is. So good luck to you all maining the Knight, and I hope you don't get hated like I sometimes do when I play as the Knight.